I don't know the solve the problem. We're going to have a quick look now. It doesn't make any sense to me why it's not been broadcasted to the right place. I've asked, I'll put it in that direction. Right, it has now finally sent it to the correct place. Apologies for anyone who was trying to get in and couldn't get in before. I can't explain why it did it. I was pointing in the right direction and did it several times, but it just didn't, for whatever reason, want to broadcast it to the correct room. Luckily, we've got this stupidity of making a whole brand new room every single time we we change the race, which the mind boggles, mate. The mind absolutely boggles with that decision. So anyway, we are ready to go. Hopefully we can get going pretty quickly. 13 laps this time round. The 5-lap race before has set the grid for this 13 lap race at Spa. Reverse grid order, of course, from race number 1. So we're going to see drivers like Stormfly, Thanos, Timoris, Rozzy, all quick, Pepe, Mike, all very quick drivers. We're going to see them try to fight their way through the pack. Monty didn't have the greatest races last time out, but both him and Papu ran out of fuel at the end. So that's why we struggle a little bit. So hopefully everything is now solved and we can move swiftly on. There we go. Right, race number 2 will begin here at Spa. All the information we need right there. We're waiting for the lights to go out. It's 2, 3, 4, one more light. That makes 5, and we are away. There's a full start from both Monty and Yarrow, which allows Paput and Canados and Beck and Rozzy, Thanos, Timora, Stormfly all to dive their way through. That was really bad timing from those guys. Just that little bit too soon on the power, and it's cost them dearly off the line. So Paput, who from race number 1 couldn't quite get all the way around without running out of fuel, has now up into the lead of this race over HKRT's Canados 1965. Nice guy Canados, but couldn't make it into the lead this time. He is 8/10 behind Paput. Behind them is other two, the duo of Mike and Yarrow, both from Poland. Paput, the Polish driver, in the lead of this race. 3 Greek drivers, 3 Polish drivers. We've got the Beck from France. We've got Pepe from Italy. We've got Stormfly, who's using the Dutch badge, but is actually Hungarian. Monty from the United Kingdom. And actually, we've got 4 Polish drivers in the room, including Rozzy, and I apologise. That is Thanos spinning. Was he clipped? It looks like actually he might have clipped somebody else, because the damage is on the front of his car. There's no walls there to have got damage on his head. Maybe he's clipped somebody. Can we have a look and see? There's a bit of damage on that front left suspension of Stormfly. How badly is that going to be affecting his pace? I don't see any other cars with any rear damage. Maybe that's where who he caught, and where the person he caught to cause that spin. So out in the lead though, there's Paput, 1.3 seconds clear. Already starting to open up a bit of a gap. He started on the racing hard tyres, which what you lack in grip gives you a bit in longevity, and you can hang it out there for as long as possible before you switch onto some better, grippier tyres. And all these cars are the little back end squirrely coming out of that final bus stop chicane. So heading down, lap 2 begins. Paput leads from Mike, 2 Polish drivers taking 1, 2. Canados from Greece in third, 1.2 seconds back. Losing the back end coming out of the source, as does it look like Yarrow, or was it Monty behind him, which allows Pepe and the Beck The Beck from France, he gets through into third. Pepe in fourth, the Italian driver. And Canados does regain his composure, but back into fifth now. A couple of places lost by him and by Monty. Coming out of the source. Stormfly up to sixth position. The damage doesn't seem to be causing too many problems in terms of pace, as himself and Monty side by side as they get to the top of the Kemmel Straight. Stormfly winning out, tucking in behind Canados and waiting for an opportunity to move further forward. Top three unchanged. Paput, Mike and the Beck still in that top three. Monty faring better this time out, up to 70s ahead of Jarrow, who we saw have a problem off the line and cost himself a little bit of time. Timoris tucked in behind him from GTGC. He was in the top three last time out, not finding it easy to pick his way through the field. Rossi back in 10th, and 14 seconds back is Thanos, who we saw have a little bit of a sideways moment, and has got significant work to do. He's got some front end aero damage and a little bit of front right suspension damage, which is just going to make handling that car a little bit trickier. And you know, despite his pace, he's got a lot of work to do just to catch the back of Rossi. A lot of racing still to do, though. We're only on lap 2 of 13 here. For those of you just joining us, if anyone has even bothered to join us, very, very low audience this evening. This is GTfusiOn round number 2, Group I, at Spa. We're in the ALFA GIULIA GTAM 2020, and it's fortune. You can do what you like to the car to get it to your perfect scenario. We've already seen how some cars have been tuned with a great straight line speed suited to a track like Spa. Others more to do with cornering ability, but we'll see which one wins out. Stormfly headed out to Greek drivers in race number 1. Different story this time. Paput, who ran out of fuel and finished second to last in race number 1, leads the way with his countryman Mike from HRT for company. They're your front two. 1.4 seconds at the moment ahead of the Beck from Francia. 1.1 seconds back to Pepe, the Italian driver, who's 1.8 seconds clear of Stormfly, currently running in 5th position. 1.7 to Canados, with it's not anymore, as Canados making a move up the order, with Monty right there getting past him. He can't hold Monty off, and Monty just breezes past with that slipstream. Canados dropping down to 7th place. Change out front, one Polish driver swapped for another as Mike takes the lead of this race over Paput, and then Paput loses out to Beck. The Beck making his way through up into 2nd. He's on those medium compound tyres. He's still going to have to run the hard compounds at some stage, so really needs to make them count, and the best way to make them count is to take the lead of this race and certainly not let Mike make a 1.5 second lead over him. He's got to close that gap as quickly, as swiftly, and as cleanly as he possibly can. Fuel's a factor. You've got to consider your fuel and tyre wear here. Quite significant. It's not quite as high as it was last time out at Suzuka, but it is still something you need to really be thinking about in this race, because we're only 3 laps in, and we're already almost down to half a tank of fuel. And we saw in the 5-lap race earlier that cars are running out of fuel and not making it to the end. So if you are not conservative with your fuel in these early stages of the race, you will find yourself coming a cropper later on, and maybe have to stop more than just the one stop that will be required. So Mike now 2 seconds clear from the Beck of France, with Paput of Poland in 3rd position. 6/10 is the gap back to Stormfly. He's made his way up into that top 4. Certainly looking very, very strong in Group I today. Second back to, to Monty, as Pepe makes the move in the source ahead of Monty. Monty just leaving that little gap open for Pepe to make the move. But let's face it, Monty now on the medium tyres, he's got a really good opportunity as they come through Radion and Eau Rouge. He's going to have a little bit better speed coming through there. That's a great run out of Eau Rouge, and there he is side by side. He can make this move. And actually, did he pull out of the slipstream a little bit too soon? He has made that move, and we do see now Pepe just dropping in behind. Pepe had a little look up the inside, but I think wisely deemed that it wasn't necessarily the right time to be thinking about that particular move, which I totally agree with. I totally agree it was not the right time for him to make that move. And of course, the keyboard controls not working as they should, which is a right pain in the Batowski. Do you know what it is? It's because we changed the lobby unnecessarily. There, of course, yeah, we changed the lobby unnecessarily, and it just messes with all these keyboard controls. So anyway, moving swiftly on while I'm digging people out. I'm going to be brutally honest here, right? There are 0 viewers on this particular World Cup broadcast, and I'm sure people will want to watch it later, but I am not particularly interested in broadcasting to an audience of 0. And if Fusion is not generating the audiences down at this level, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, because I'm going to say something that's, that people might not necessarily agree with. Yeah, let's keep my mouth shut. So Mike L leads the way at the moment. It's 3.5 seconds clear. Nice big gap for him out in front. The French driver, the Beck, has under significant pressure from Stormfly. The Stormfly makes his way up into second, makes the move into the bus stop chicane. The Beck trying to hold on. He does have that inside line. Gets a little bit elbowsy. I think that's fair though. But Stormfly's going to have the inside line through La Source, and a straight drag race down to turn 1, with Stormfly just edging it from the French driver into La Source. Is there a chance for the old switcheroo? Yes, there is, but the Beck gets too hot on the power and loses the back end, and that just frees Stormfly up to disappear off up the road like a wisp of smoke in the distance. That gets Paput back into the top 3, Monty up into the top 4, Pepe up into the top 5, Timoris up into the top 6. Canados is 7th in the Beck. Big loss there. He's down into 8th place. As who was that? That was Canados getting all kinds of out of shape. All kinds of out of shape. A lot out of shape. And that was a massive crash. And I've got to be brutally honest, my friend, but you cannot. No, you can't. You can't park that there, mate. Yeah, he's significantly damaged. That is massive. He was a little bit too hot coming out of Radio and Eau Rouge. Didn't really have control of the car onto the straight there, and then it just went horribly wrong. And of course, amongst a big gaggle of cars like he was, he just basically got battered around like a hockey puck at a skate park, and it was all over. It was all over for Canados. Significant damage. You can see there. He's struggling to get the car much above 100 miles an hour now. He's going to lose a lot of time to Thanos ahead. Thanos has got some significant front end damage as well. So the 2 HKRT drivers in big trouble right at the back of the pack. Kevin's going to beat you to death with your own head. How did Kevin get on yesterday? Does anyone know? I meant to have a look, but I didn't get a chance. Mike L, talking of HKRT, this is HRT. I'm sure the team doesn't stand for hormone replacement therapy. You never know. 5.1 seconds is his gap out in the lead of this race. Stormfly up into second. He's now putting a gap from Paput, who at one stage was leading this race. And Canados rage quits after... I'm sure he's going to blame the connection one, but that for me, that was an absolute blatant rage quit. So rage quits from this race after what was a terrible accident. And from the looks, I didn't see anyone touch him, but from the looks, from what I saw, it looked very much though he came into Radio and Eau Rouge a little bit too hot, or came out of them, should I say, a little bit too hot, and just couldn't get back control of the car, and kind of bumpity with some of the other cars around him. We saw him kind of go squirrely off to the right hand side, and then sort of coming back on the track, it just went from bad to worse, and significant damage, and off he goes. He's quit this race. I don't know. I actually don't know what the rules are about rage quitting. I know what my feelings are on rage quitting, but each their own. Each to their own. So Stormfly currently 4.2 seconds back from the leader. He is sandwiched between the 2 Polish drivers of Mike L and Paput. from ATR. 4.7 seconds, pretty much 4.5 seconds either way for Stormflyer. 4.5 seconds behind and in front. Pit window will be open relatively shortly. We're on lap 6 of 13. I think those on the hard tyres will be looking to switch as quickly as possible onto those medium compound tyres. We can see here, you can see the hards, Pepe on the hards, hards for Paputa and Pepe, hards for Timoris. The top medium tyre runner is Monty. 6 laps is what you're getting out of these medium tyres. You can see there where he's got. Should see him diving into the pits at the end of this lap for a set of the hard compound tyre, and a fill to the brim should be enough fuel to bring him safely home at the end of this race. There is the Beck. We saw the Beck get all kinds of out of shape coming out of the source, battling Stormflyer for second, and he's now back in 7th, and didn't get the most. That's the thing, if you're going to start on the softer compound tyres, the way to get the most out of those tyres is to get yourself up through the order and make a bit of a lead, and he just hasn't been able to do that, Beck, and he's down in 7th place. Hard tyres on there for Rossi, running in 8th. The Polish driver is 1.2 seconds ahead of the only remaining HKRT driver, Thanos, who has himself some significant damage and will be struggling with pace because of that. Yarrow also with some damage to the front aerodynamics and that front suspension, front left suspension on that particular car. So medium tyre runners in. There's a couple of hard tyre runners coming in as well, probably a lap early based on tyre wear, but I suppose with that much damage is something they need to consider doing. The gap to the leader is down to 2.9 seconds. Mike still holding firm in the lead of this race, but it's not as comfortable a lead as it was one lap ago, as Paput loses out to Pepe, who moves up into 3rd place. The Italian driver with a really solid, very consistent laps, 21.8, 21.3, 21.3, lap after lap after lap, and getting himself up into that top 3. 1.4 seconds back to Paput, who seems to be dropping into the clutches of GTC Timoris, formerly of HKRT, now with the Gran Turismo Greek community, driving with them. It's funny, I look across the board here, and Stormfly, Timoris, Thanos, Canados, who's quit the race, Monty, race with all of these drivers, and they're all, in their own right, they're all very good drivers. And obviously Stormfly's always going to be my favourite because he's one of mine, but I don't want one of mine, he's one of our drivers. But yeah, I mean, they're all very capable drivers on their day. For some reason, Monty just hasn't been showing the pace I usually expect from him. He's usually pretty darn racy. He's trying to squeeze one more lap out of those medium tyres, but you can see just how much pressure he's put through them, and they're not going to be giving him optimum grip. They are red all over it. It might have been worthwhile changing them out a lap sooner. We'll see how much time he's lost because of it. Mike L, or is it Michael? Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Michael of HRT. He's into the mix, followed by Stormfly. Will we see Pepe come in? Yes, we do. Paput follows him in. Absolutely. And Timoris. Monty, we know he's coming in. The state of those medium sizes, he's got no choice. Monty, he's not come in. Monty is staying out for another lap on tyres that can only be described as they were useless a lap ago. But he's staying out for another lap and somehow makes it around the source without dying. This is either a master stroke of tactics or absolute tomfoolery, and we will find out in a lap or two just which one of those two it is. Thanos, he's on those hard compound tyres. He's still nursing that damage, but he can stay out there a little bit longer on those hard compound tyres and maybe maximise the pace on the mediums when he does come in. But we've got to keep an eye on Monty, because I'm looking at those tyres and I'm thinking, my God, I would not dream of attempting a straight line on tyres that bad. But Monty has massive balls of steel, and he's demonstrating those massive cojones by giving us some very, and the back end of that car is looking incredibly squirrely. There's no grip on the front at all, and the back end of that car is not looking much better either. If he makes this all the way back, I'll tell you what, if he makes this all the way back to the pits without a massive crash, then massive kudos, huge round of applause to Monty, the tyre whisperer, Montova, from the GTBE racing team. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Last big, after this is one more big test of braking. He's holding on to them so far. He's got a couple of big he's got a couple of big left-handers to do on those tyres before he hits the bus stop chicane. Do those tyres hold on long enough? He certainly looks to have made them last the distance. That is some phenomenal driving from on tyres that really have no business being anywhere near a racetrack. They were dead 3 laps ago. Massive credit to Monty. He's got those tyres home. That is a phenomenal performance. Thanos will follow him in. Michael has come back out the pit. 7 seconds is the gap between him and Timoris. Timoris and Michael have both gone quite low on fuel coming out of the pits. Stormfly got a little bit more conservative, put a little bit more on board. Now the thing is what's quite important is that because they've got less on board, they do have to manage that fuel a little bit in these last 4 laps of the race. Fuel consumption is relatively high, so they've got to think about that fuel consumption. Mikel coming through is going to take the lead of this race. Has this proved to be a masterstroke for Monty? We'll soon find out. So Timoris comes through. He's currently running second on the racetrack. Stormfly, does he get ahead of Monty, or has Monty pulled the absolute masterstroke of genius? I don't think he has, because Stormfly comes through. He's currently running in third. Now, looking at the fuel there, he can really push. But is there enough time for him to close? Monty currently has the fastest lap of the race with a 2:18.9. He's going to be on hard compound tyres. Currently in 5th, 6th, 7th. As we see everyone sort of coming through, so I'm not sure this has been the best strategy for either Monty or Thanos. In fact, Thanos comes out ahead of Monty by some way. He's opted not to make the repairs to his car, whereas I think Monty has filled that tank up like fuel is free. And obviously on this game it is. That's far too much fuel for the last 3 laps of this race, so fuel management not something on the cards there. So Thanos is nursing. He's got a 3-second penalty, and he's got damage on the front of that car, but he is now on the medium compound tyres. That 3-second penalty, that is going to put him right into the clutches of Monty, whose car is a little bit heavier, but with so much more fuel, he doesn't have to worry about conserving. He could find himself putting significant pressure on Thanos very soon. Here's your top 3. Michael has come out 7.3 seconds clear. Now, bearing in mind, he was about 2.5 seconds ahead of Stormfly when they went into the pits. He's come out. Timoris has jumped Stormfly in the pits, and not in a kind of happy, jumpy together kind of way, but in a got past him and nicked his place kind of way. But Mikel's made significant gains, and 7.6 seconds clear of the Greek driver Timoris. He is currently 3.7 seconds ahead of Stormfly. You can see that gap is coming down very quickly. So did Timoris have a little bit of a wobble into the bus stop chicane, or is Stormfly just showing significant? Well, we can see he's showing significant pace because he just put in the fastest lap of the race with a 2:16.0. Timoris' last lap was a 2:17.6. If Stormfly taking 1.6 seconds out of Timoris a lap, which last lap would suggest that he is, then it's going to be an interesting chase now. Mikel's last lap was a 2:16.9. The gap between Stormfly and the lead is 10 seconds. Not enough time being taken out of him to catch him. So it looks like Mikel's done enough, as long as he can keep this on the racetrack, to win here at Spa in this race number 2. So Mikel leads 7.5 seconds from Timoris. Stormfly rounds out that top 3. Further down the order, we've got Pepe from Italy. He's under a bit of pressure there from Paput, the I was going to say Russian driver, he's not Russian, he's Polish. The Polish driver, who's 6/10 of a second behind him, and putting significant pressure on the rear of that DCT car. You can see Paput there really kind of closing in. Rossi, everything looking rosy there in 6th place. So I did the play on words and all that palaver. With Thanos still carrying that front end aero damage and suspension damage on the front left hand side. Despite having that 3-second penalty, Monty didn't capitalise. The fact that Thanos is on the medium compound tyres is going to help him somewhat, and Monty put an awful lot of fuel in that tank, far more than was needed to get to the end of this race. The Beck, I don't know why he's called The Beck, maybe he's the only one. He's not The Beck, because The Beck is one of the greatest guitarists that ever lived. He's another Beck. From France, he's 3.8 behind Monty. He's got hard compound tyres on as well. Significantly less fuel, which should make him a little bit quicker. He was 2:21.6 last lap to Monty's 3:15. Monty did not have a good... Here's the irony. So lap 8, Monty was on the ropiest tyres you've ever seen, and did a brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant, kept it on the racetrack. Lap 9 didn't go quite so well for Monty on those hard compound tyres, and actually got better performance out of completely ruined mediums than he's been getting out of the brand spanking new hards, which I think just goes to demonstrate how utterly rubbish the hard compound tyres are on Gran Turismo 7, and utterly pointless as well, I think. In so much as that you have to be forced to use them in order for them ever to be viable. I've never seen a race where they're an option but not a necessity, and anyone's ever contemplated actually using them. And the only time I ever see hard compound tyres being used on this game is when they are an absolute must. You have no choice, you must use those tyres, simple as. Otherwise people do not go anywhere near them because they're rubbish. We're down to 10, of course, because Canados, after having a massive tank slapper heading into the Kemmel Straight early on, had a massive paddy and a rage quit this race. Jaro BMW 25.9 seconds back. He's got front and rear aerodynamic damage, which is going to be affecting his performance in corners and in the straights. So no inroads to Morris and stuff. I'm not making inroads into Michael, who is comfortably leading this race by 7.9 seconds. Now I think he does need to be a little bit concerned about his fuel. He's burning through it at a rate of knots. 2:16.7 was his last lap. Stormfly with a 2:15.6 to improve on his previous best lap, and he's closed the gap to Morris to 1.2 seconds. It's going to be a very big ask for Stormfly to take another win here. Can he catch Morris? Absolutely. I mean, I think he's certainly put the pressure on the back of Morris here. But not only has he got to catch him, he's then got to pass him, but then he's got 7 seconds to close on Mikel. Is it Mikel or is it just Michael? I don't know. The way it's written, I would say Michael, but I'm no expert, of course. Through the bus stop chicane they come. This is lap 11 of 13. We are here in the ALFA GIULIA GTAM 2020. This is round 2, Group I of the GTfusiOn World Team Championships 2023, brought to you by a number of different sponsors. And I can't I should bring that up, shouldn't I? Which is that one right there. I had to reset everything. I don't know what was going on with the lobby, but for some reason it wanted to broadcast on something completely different than it should have been, but there we go. So here we have it. There's your top 3. Stormfly really getting much closer to Morris now. Can he make this move? And keyboard control's not working properly, mostly because we have to keep changing lobbies in between races, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in lobby racing, to be fair. Brand new lobby or reset lobby all day long, but brand new is just nuts, particularly that there are 1 or 2 lobby issues. And that's a great move from Stormfly to get past him, and that's brave as well, very brave to make that move there. The one danger there, of course, if Morris decides to turn in at any time there, Stormfly, based on the rules of GT Fusion, for making the move up the inside is very likely to receive a penalty for making the move. Despite being a move, for me, that's a valid move to make. The door was open, and Stormfly went through it, and the door never got shut on him. So Timoris has to see Stormfly disappear. Now, 7.8 seconds is the gap. He has absolutely burnt through that fuel. Now, is Mikel got enough to take him to the end of this race? Here's the question. I actually thought that maybe Stormfly had overfueled a little bit, but it looks to me actually that Mikel may have underfueled slightly here, because if we're looking at the two fuel situations, so Mikel, it's going to be close, and if Mikel has to take his foot off that gas a little bit and hold out while Stormfly is going hell for leather, flat, this could be an interesting last couple of laps here, as we complete lap 12, or I say last couple of laps, last lap. Lap 13 begins. This is the final lap of the race. Mikel leads 7.5 seconds from Stormfly, who is 1.4 seconds clear of Timoris. Timoris is 16.1 clear of Paput, 7 tenths clear of Pepis. Rossi is 6.5 seconds back in 6th position with HKRT Thanos, who, despite the damage on his car and not repairing that damage in the pit stop, is hanging on quite well. He had a horrible start to the race, which saw him way down the order, and actually with his teammate, plumbing last place, his teammate Canados, having a massive tank slapper in the Kemmel Straight, and eventually quitting the race. But Thanos was way back in 10th place with him, but has kind of recovered a little bit up into 7th, which, considering he's got damage, is not a bad recovery. He's 15, nearly 16 seconds clear of Monty, running in 8th, 33 seconds ahead of the Beck, who at one stage was running in the top 3, and he is 11.4 seconds ahead of Giaro. Yeah. This is when, right, so we talk about the ELO system. The ELO system is, in some ways, it's absolutely brilliant, because what it does is it's a great leveler in terms of performance and stuff. But I think this shows where ELO isn't necessarily that accurate, because we've got a driver there. We've got Mikel, who's doing steady 216.7, Stormfly doing 215.6s out in front, and then we've got drivers at the back of the pack 222.7. Should those drivers be in the same lobby? In terms of pace would suggest not. Pace would suggest if you are organising lobbies based on relevant pace and similar pace, then you would have drivers like Mikel and Stormfly and Timoris in much higher lobbies than they're currently in. I mean, if we consider that I did the broadcast last month for the Group 2 Sunday Pro groups, and the pace in that group was exactly the same as the pace in the same group that Stormfly and Slipstream were running in last time out, and which was something like Group G, Group H. To me, it doesn't make sense for it to be organised in that way, but it is what it is. I think if we're going to organise by ELO, it can't just be a blanket, well, this is how fast they were last year, so this is how fast they are this year. There should be a whole series of qualifiers to determine where people genuinely belong. So at least then the pace is a lot more relative. It shouldn't be, oh, well, they were pro last year, therefore they're definitely pro this year. Or they were pro-am last year, they definitely got to stay pro-am this year, even though they might be faster. But Mikel does take the win and holds on 7.6 seconds from Stormfly, comes home second. Timoris in third. Yeah, but you still did all right. You still held on. To be fair, you had to put on a lot more fuel than he did, which I think made the massive difference. And you finished with a similar amount, so he's much better at holding on to the fuel than you are. And I've got to say, as you're the only person watching, there's a part of me that thinks, why the fuck am I bothering to broadcast this if the only person watching is you? I could literally just stand in the lobby and talk to you on comms and tell you what's happening, rather than waste my time freaking broadcasting when I've got 4 hours of broadcasting ahead of me for GT Champion. If the audience, the thing is, I understand that Fusion want everything broadcast, and their sponsors want everything broadcast, but the audience isn't there. What is the point? Because no one's going to come and watch this later. No one does. I've got the analytics. No one watched. You might get 1 or 2 over the course of a week, but compared to last season, there were. I know. That's the only reason I haven't left already, mate. To be honest, it's the only reason I haven't left already. But the fact of the matter is this: if you've got a race series and nobody is watching it, then why are you broadcasting it? Who is it being broadcast for? The drivers? Well, no, because none of them are in the room. The only person currently watching this is me and Stormfly. They're the 2 viewers. Me. I'm logged in on YouTube to make sure the broadcast is working. That's 2 people. Me and you, we're the only people watching a broadcast. And I can see the broadcast already because I'm making the freaking broadcast. Nuts, isn't it? And here's the more nuts thing. Like, we just had a race and we've got to wait 10 minutes now because the rules say we've got to wait 10 minutes. And we got the stupid thing of starting a brand new lobby for whatever stupid reason that is as well. Maybe it's because I'm tired after that 24-hour race, but I'm kind of questioning some of my life decisions. There we go. Right, so short break for everyone to have a wee and get a drink. Hopefully it is a short break as well. We don't have to have 10 minutes, do we? Oh look, we've got 4 viewers now. How about that? Two more people have come to watch. Hurrah! Nobody watches when they're racing, and then when we're in between lobbies, 2 people rock up to come and have a look at a loading screen. Boom Shankar. Broadcast to YouTube, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Loads of people will come and watch. Oh, they arse. Right, so new room is going to be made. There it is. Stupid. The other thing, does Canados return? Canados did rage quit out of that last race after having a massive tank slap up the Kemmel Straight. Is he gone for good, or is he going to come back? We've got a 5-minute qualifying session here. Husaria, bro. What does that mean? I suppose Husaria Racing Team. I've got a message. Who's that message from? Who's messaging me this time of night? It's got 2 messages back to back to say there's a network issue and then we fix your network issue. Not here, there isn't. Anyway, job done. Moving swiftly on. Starting at 30 past. Why are you saying it like that? That's weird. Can't you just say half past? Right. As we've got 7 minutes, I'm going to go and have some ablutions. I didn't even bother setting the stream deck up for this. I really couldn't be bothered. Right, yeah, back in a minute. Hello, mate. I wouldn't worry, because genuinely, the only audience so far has been me, Stormfly, and you, and the only reason I'm not ditching this broadcast is because Stormfly is actually doing quite well. I've got some adverts. You want to see some adverts? I've got some adverts. Let's show you. Let's show you some adverts. Which one do you want to see? Let's do that one first. There's an advert for you. So this massive audience of me, you, and Stormfly can watch this advert. As you can tell by the tone of my voice, Joe, I actually don't give a fuck. Stop fucking moaning. Shut up. I could literally just send you these adverts on Discord, and you can watch them there. I'll stop moaning when you start fucking winning every race, mate. What's this Peppy talking about? No break. You've given him a break. 7 fucking minutes. How long do you need to have a piss and get a drink? I'll tell you what though, let's have a go. I quite like this thing. She's not bad, is it? Let's have it, number one. Shall we watch another advert? There you go, there's another one. About going to the pub. And then getting in a car and driving really fast apparently. Because that's the way to do it. Very nearly checked in then, and I didn't mean to. Well, you start on the grid, Joe. Later, on the mid-table. Oh, you're going to get your laptop, aren't you? That means I have to get off my ass and go to the post office and post that that capture card then, doesn't it? I do need to go to the post office next week anyway. I've got quite a bit of stuff to post. 1 minute, I don't know how long. To be fair, I haven't watched these adverts, we can see how long they are, so I don't know how long left on it. I'm going to play it to the end anyway, because everyone wants to see it. I think it's pretty sure. No one that's just lost a race to anybody is that congratulatory in real life. There we go. Playing that. Perfect timing. 10th-ish. That's not too bad, to be fair. Yeah, it's 2 hours, mate. Just take it easy at Brands Hatch. I would keep out of the way through turn 1 and then through Druids, which is turn 2, and let all the idiots just knock themselves off, and then you should gain 2 or 3 places. Lap 1 with Crazyville, which usually happens, as you well know, at Brands Hatch. Need to speak to me. I didn't do it. You can't prove it. Nobody saw me. Right, let's have it. 5-minute qualifying session for another sprint race. I need to get cracking. I would like to have a nice little break. Can we make sure we're done by about 10:30? No, that'd be lovely. Give me a nice half-hour break before GT Champions. Right, here we go. Another qualifying session. 5 minutes this time. Enough for essentially one hot lap. So that's what we want on that, I mean. Is the keyboard working this time? No, of course not. It was working perfectly for the first race, but we had to keep changing lobbies because there's a stupid rule about that, apparently. We didn't get we got Monty, but we didn't get Canados back. So Canados having a proper strop. To be fair, it's not. You probably could do it on here. It's not like anyone but me, you, or Stormfly are watching anyway. Oh look, 2 more. There's 2 more people viewing. Woo! Excitement. The excitement is building. Stormfly's basically just logged in on 2 more devices, isn't he? Okay, so qualifying ensues for the second half of this GT Fusion. This is round 2, Group I in GT Fusion 2023. We are in the ALFA GIULIA GTAM 2020, fully tuned up to specification. And thank you to Willard for the very cool livery on this car. We're at Spa Francochamps in I don't know why my brain was going say Brazil. It's not in Brazil, it's in Belgium, of course it is. Everybody knows it's in Belgium. Last time we qualified, it was Thanos, this man here, that got himself on pole. Couldn't hold on to that position. Can I go on board? I can. I'm not going to, but I can. Of course I can. There you go. What do you want to see? So here we go. Hot lap ensues. Head up towards Radion and Rouge. You want to hug this pit wall on this right hand side, and at full pelt you don't let go, you flick it, you drop off. This car cannot handle full pelt through there. You'll just go, you'll do what Canados did on lap 2 of the last race, and you'll just disappear off to that right hand side and end up in a big heap, and then you'll probably rage quit. Yeah, I'll do the lap on board. Here we go. So you can watch, get to the top of the Kemmel Straight. You get it turned in as early as possible. Right and left, little lift round this right hander before you blast down the hill towards this. And there's some great camera views here. The best shot is, of course, of the cars coming down towards you as they curve round all the way back on yourself. Little lift there. Dropping down to second gear, touch of the brake to get you slowed down before you're back on power again. And 50 metre board, touch of brakes right there, bang, get it turned in, off the brakes, back on that power, powering through the gears, and you should be where he is right now, 5th, 6th gear, as you're straightening the car up again into the braking zone. Here you've got a little bit slower in the first one. It gives you a much better exit out of this left-hander, and you can use a lot of that road. Just be careful not to dip a toe onto that gravel. Last big braking zone before you reach the bus stop chicane, because from here on in you're pretty much flat to the floor. You need a little lift past the little house into Blanchimont, through the penalty line. You keep your foot firmly planted up into 6th gear, 7th gear in this Alfa Romeo, 8th gear, 8 gears in this Alfa Romeo. That's insane, I didn't even notice that. Down to 5th you go, and then keep. Why does a car that goes this slow need 8 gears? That's absolute insanity. There we go. And then round the bus stop chicane. There's some mental things that come out in this GT Fusion race. Just being grouchy and tired and all. And there we go. That's the new lap record initially. We've done the onboard as requested. Let's watch somebody else now. And Thanos, not too far for 2:14.7 to the 2:14.5. And because it's only 5 minutes qualifying, they're going to get one more blast. But that's pretty much everything they've got. you've got to improve here. If you can't improve here, you're not going to improve your lot. This is how they will line up should nobody improve. It'll be Stormfly and Thanos on the front row. Paput and Timoris on row 2. No, it won't be, because Mike has put in, that's a blistering lap from Mike, a 2:14.1. Phenomenal lap from him. That keeps Stormfly on the front row but busts him down to second. Thanos and Paput now on row 2. Timoris and Rosie and Jim are on row 3. Timoris and Rosie there, of course. Monty and Beppy are on row 4. Row 5 is the Beck, or is it the Beck? We'll see what he does now when he crosses the line. Boom Shankar across the line, and actually he just goes slower. So he was a bit slower than Jarrow. Jarrow in 9th, the Beck in 10th. They don't get another crack at the whip. They cross the line after that final whistle has blown. So Mike L is he's got one more crack at it, as a Stormfly and Thanos and Paput, Timoris and the Rosie, all one more crack at it. What about Monty? Did Monty get another crack? He did. And Peppy. So everybody else got an extra crack other than the last two. So Mikel flicking down. Actually, he'll be one of the last to cross the line. So we'll, I think Stormfly will be first to cross the line and give us a new representative lap. Or will he? Is he quicker this time out? I didn't see the split, so I'm kind of guessing. I'm looking at the time there, and it looks like might be there or thereabouts, you know. When he crosses the line, is he faster? It's a 2:13.6. That's pole for Stormfly. Does he stay there? Thanos not quick enough. Can't get better. That's not a bad lap at all from Stormfly. Sub 2:14. To get himself on pole. So Stormfly, Thanos on the front row. Mikel and Timoris, they're on row. No, they're not. Because Rosie, that's a great lap from Rosie, a 14.5 from him. There, it's him with Mikel on row 2. Timoris and Paput. Can Paput improve? He does not. He's on row 3 with Timoris. What about Monty? Can he improve? He hasn't improved either. He's on row 4 with Pepe. Jarrow and the Beck bring up the rear on row 5. That's a great, isn't it? You're right. It's an absolutely cracking lap. Absolutely cracking. But look, you can see the difference. So this is where I was talking earlier before you jumped on. Ta-da! I was talking earlier, Joe, about the ELO system. You know, the ELO system sometimes is very, very good. The problem is I think it's a little bit flawed in its current setup here, because you've got Stormfly just did a 2:13.6, right? The Beck didn't set a time, but Jarrow a 2:24.0. Now an ELO system should have there shouldn't be more than a second or a second and a half separating those 10 drivers with a really tight ELO system. And I bet if we look at when I do, if they haven't sacked me by then, of course, when I do the pro group tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we see similar times to those put in by Stormfly, Mikel, Thanos, Rosie, Timoris, and Paput. So those top 6, I'm going to take a screenshot of that, actually. Let me take a screenshot here, because I have a feeling, and I'm going to put those times up on the broadcast tomorrow, and compare the difference between those and the ones in the pro group tomorrow, because that will demonstrate where the ELO system is a little bit flawed, and that actually it might need a bit of an overhaul, or maybe it shouldn't carry over from season to season. Maybe what it should actually do is be reassessed on a season by season basis, based on current existing pace, not over the course of six races spread apart over 8 months. So that's 4 lights, that's 5 lights. They'll go out and we'll go racing 5 laps here at Spa. Stormfly leads. Great start from Mikel. Great start from Thanos. A little bit squirrely on the start from Stormfly. And he's going to go into... Oh, and he's been clipped! What happened there? Did he clip somebody? It looks to me like he might have... I wonder if the replay works and we can see what happened. Unfortunately, the replay is not working. And I'll tell you why the replay's not fucking working. I hope the GTfusiOn listen. This fucking stupid idea of resetting the lobby every fucking time for every race right, when the lobby's working perfectly. Doesn't make any sense at all, absolutely none, because everything works perfectly in lobby number 1, and then you start resetting and messing around with things and starting new lobbies every time and keep having to jump in and out. That's why the keyboard controls are not working. That's fundamentally the reason why. And what's the point in having all these controls if we can't use them, because race setups are stupid. There you go, I've said it, don't care. Anyway, so we can't see what happened there. I'll make a judgment about anything because the replays don't work. Literally, I can press buttons 1 to 10 to look at drivers. I can't even change camera views with the keyboard controls because of this crazy ass lobby system. Anyway, Mikel leads the way, 1.1 seconds. Thanos in second. Paput in third. Timoris is up to 4th place. Pepe is in 5th. The Beck running in 6th place. He's got Monty right up there behind him. Monty getting a little, look at that. That's a very elbowsy move from Monty. And the Beck trying to have a little nibble back at him. So those guys down in the lower order, it's less racy and more UFC between those guys. Jarro in 8th. Rosie in 9th. He's got damage front and rear, and Stormfly there, he's got some damage at the front. It looked to me like he was clipped in O-Region Radio, going very wide there. Was he caught on that front suspension by possibly Rosie there? Because Rosie's got where is he? Rosie's got some damage front and rear, or well, we don't know. We couldn't do a replay because the lobby keeps getting reset, so we can't use any of those controls. So Mikel, incredible pace from him, to be fair, and he's he didn't have that qualifying pace that Stormfly did, but certainly put himself there or thereabouts, and he's able now just to open up a gap, 1.3 seconds from Thanos from HKRT, who struggled in the feature race, the first feature race, after being involved in some shenanigans. I know that he got caught up with his teammate when his teammate Canados went a hella sideways in the Kemmel Straight, and then threw his controller across the room and rage quit. I don't know that he threw his controller across the room. I'm guessing that bit, but I imagine there was some form of swearing going on. From Poland, these Polish drivers looking very strong actually today. Race pace pretty decent, 2.8 seconds back from Thanos as it stands in this sprint race, with Timoris not too far behind, 1.1 seconds. He'll definitely want to get closer to Thanos for that bit of Greek pride. Pepe from Italia, DC team driver. We will actually see more of the DC team, Black Flag will, in the upcoming ERF 12-hour at Bathurst event, which will be next bank holiday weekend. DCT, I believe we've got a couple of drivers in there. I don't think Pepe's one of them. I could be wrong, but they will be involved in that event. Or at least I believe they've qualified for it anyway. Jarro BMW is not in BMW, he's in an Alpha, but currently running in 6.8 seconds behind Pepe. He's got Monty 1.1 behind him. No real battles on the racetrack at the moment. Stormfly up to 8th. He's got past the Beck, and he's got past Rosie. He's got that damage on the front though, which is going to significantly affect his ability to close down on these drivers. 17 seconds already behind Mike L. And this of course is another area where the ELO system falls down, because if it's based on a single race performance and you are involved in an accident, if it isn't your fault, it can affect your ELO, and there's nothing in the world you can do about it. So again, pretty weird. And of course the stewarding system doesn't redress the balance of the ELO problem either. It just bans people for sometimes things they didn't even do, as we well know, because we had a driver banned from this particular race that wasn't involved in the incident, and we actually entered a driver into this race that was supposed to be banned, but we served because we, in the interest of fairness, and the penalty was given, we ensured that he did serve that ban today. Just want to make that clear. If the argument comes up, I will point that out, that we did that out of the goodness of our hearts, because we believe in following the rules, however stupid we might think they are. the fact that my appeals against the sentence were ignored has not gone unnoticed by me. Let's put it that way, because there seems to be within this unit a little clique of friends, and they want to try and keep it that way. Michael is running in the lead, 1.9 seconds clear, and he's looking pretty darn comfortable at the moment. 2:15.7, his fastest lap of the race. Thanos there in second position, 3.5 seconds clear of Paput. We're on lap 3 of 5 here at Spa. Would love to have seen that first lap incident involving what looked like to be a couple of cars actually, but alas, no replay for me today. I suppose I could save the replay and watch it later. I don't really want to. Can't be bothered. Timoras running in 4th position. There's 2 Greek drivers, 2 Polish drivers in that top 4. Concertina like a deck of cards. And that was, well, that's changed very, very quickly as Paput goes completely the wrong way and just loses it into the bus stop chicane. So Timora's now up into 3rd, Pepe up into 4th, and there is Paput now down in 5th position, 1.8 seconds behind Pepe. There's whiskey in the jarro, 6.7 seconds behind Paput. He's got a 2.9 second gap over Stormfly, who was involved in a first lap incident, which we couldn't review through the GT7 replay avenue that you normally could. Monty running in 8th place, big gap to the Beck. No real battles going on the racetrack. So there's a little battle there. Rosie not too far behind the Beck. Can he maybe put some pressure on in these final couple of laps here at Spa? So Rosie getting a good run, but I think we're going to get into the braking zone before Rosie can make the move. He did have a little brief look up the inside, thought better of it, and I think wisely so, because unless you are incredibly pinpoint accurate making that move, then your best bet is to hang back and wait for another opportunity. The Beck, the French driver, is holding on ahead of him, and there's still going to be a couple of opportunities for Rosie to make that move, but with what seems to be quite significant damage for Rosie, he's going to be losing some performance behind the Beck, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to make the move that I think he would like to be able to make. But he is quite nicely under the wing, that rear wing of the Beck at the moment. Well, to be honest, when I first saw that blue and orange, I wasn't sure about it, but it's growing on me. That livery, I quite like it. It is really, really growing on me. The Beck is doing everything in his power to keep Rosie at bay, but Rosie all over him. He's jinking left and right, trying to find a way through. Clearly much more pace in the Polish driver than in that of the French driver. And it's, I'm going to be brutally honest, it's not been a great weekend for French drivers in Urban Pirate Towers. We had an absolute nightmare with a French driver in daily races earlier in the week. We had a number of French drivers jumping into the 24-hour charity race, ignoring the despite being allowed to, off the opportunity to stay in the lobby, completely flouting and ignoring the rules. And it was, and the irony is, it was only there was one German and 4 French drivers that ignored the rules. Everybody else either respected the rules or left. I don't know if it's a particular French trait, just being particularly arrogant, but that's how it's come across this weekend to us anyway. I don't know if that's necessarily a thing, but it certainly came across that way over this weekend thus far. 3.2 seconds is Michael's lead, and he's the Polish driver doing incredibly well to be leading over Thanos HKR2. I'm not suggesting that it's not something he usually does. He's proven time and time again in this race today, or this series of races today, that he has got some pace behind him. Pepe, the Italian, up into that top 3, and that's Timoras making a mistake in 4th place. Into the wall he goes. Much closer now is Paput. that gap really closing fast. How much damage has Tamura's got, and how much slower is that going to make him? It's certainly not going to allow him any opportunity to break into that top 3, making a big mistake there. So it just seems that the Greek drivers today have been quite error prone, particularly Tamura and obviously Canados earlier. A couple of errors in their game today. Are they pushing just a little bit too hard? Has that been where these mistakes are coming from? People pushing just a little bit harder than they need to, or should, and that's where mistakes creep in. But a deserved win for Michael. Stormfly lucked out. Stormfly was very quick in qualifying, without a shadow of a doubt, and was a little bit whatever happened in. On lap 1, I don't know, but that gave Mikel a little bit of a breather, and he wins quite comfortably from Thanos in second. Pepe, the Italian driver, good result for him from DCT, coming home in third. Tamura, despite that little clump against the wall, is he going to make it? Is Papu going to nick it on the line? Not quite. Tamura does make it. Papu in fifth. Jarro comes home in sixth. Stormfly out of fuel, creeps across the line in seventh. Had to super push after that accident on lap 1. See if something needs to be entered for that. Rosie across the line in 8th. What happened, mate? Because I couldn't do the replay because this lobby thing will keep changing the lobby. It means I can't use the keyboard controls. What happened? Because the damage was on the front of your car, but I don't know who it was that hit you. It looked to me like it probably was Rosie because he was the only one with damage, but the damage was only showing on the front of your vehicle. So where did he catch you from? I don't exactly know what happened. It was a bit of a blur, to be honest. I did try and watch the replay, but I couldn't. I'm going to save that though, save replay, and we can watch it back later. Because if you were clumped, absolutely put the steward's inquiry in, and we'll see how consistent it is from round 1. Yeah, I've just saved that replay because it's only team managers that are allowed to put the thingy in. It's a pain in the arse. Drivers can't put their own in. It has to be done through the team manager. So I'll have a look at that and we'll whack it in tomorrow. Right, shall we move on? I want to have a little bit of a break before Champions, if possible. So there we go, 3 races down, 1 to go. Major incident to look at in that last race in lap 1. It was a little bit feisty, that race. There was a few incidents in that race where I felt that aggression was on the side of bullying rather than just outright kind of hardcore racing. Who knows? He was in my group last time out, Max, Super Max. Oh, it's not up yet. Group not up yet. Come on, mate, got shit to do. Hurry up. Oops, wrong button. If it all goes horribly wrong for you in race number 2 and you get like punted off and those cars win, I'm not seeing the race out. I'm broadcasting to us 3. Literally, I think at one stage we had 4 people in the room, which meant that 1 other person was watching. It's a crock of shit, mate. There's no audience for these lower levels, clearly. So it's a waste. It's a massive waste of my time broadcasting it when I've got other stuff going on. Yeah, it's alright when I'm doing a high groups, and I'm sure the Sunday group will be fine. But these Saturday groups, this lowdown, it's just vanity for us to be broadcasting it. It's absolutely pointless. Hope you didn't hear that. I just let one rip in, and it was a bit louder than I expected it to be. Apologies for that. So we've had some interesting races thus far. Clearly, the big pace is Stormfly. The big pace is Mike. Paput's got some pace in there. Thanos has shown some pace when he hasn't damaged his car. Pepe as well shows really good pace, and Tim Morris as well. Giaro, Rosie, the Beck, not super quick. It looks like Monty's had enough. He's not coming back by the looks of it, so I think we just get cracking. I saved the last one, and I'll save this one. I didn't save the first two though, but I did save the last one. Because I want to have a look at it again when I get a chance to as well. Because I don't. It was just a massive, like, 1 minute everyone was like flying through Radion and up through Eau Rouge, and then you just disappeared off the left hand side, and I couldn't work out what happened. But yeah, I've saved the first one, and I'll save this second one if we get that far. If it's a clusterfuck, the last one, I'm not going to bother. Literally the only people watching right now are me, you, and Jay, and one of us isn't even watching. So that's probably Jay. Is Monty coming back? Andy, did Aaron? I'm assuming you asked, did Aaron do something, and not just questioning whether I did him. Because that's a very inflammatory statement, or an actual statement. Andy did Aaron, and then just stop. That sort of thing it breaks up relationships, my friend. Having dinner now, so can't type. Unless you're actually eating your fingers, I'm pretty sure you still can type, my friend. I'm joking, man, I'm joking. What is going on? Why is that loose? That shouldn't be loose. Right, come on, people. I'm on a deadline. I've got 13 2-minute laps to get through. Don't pull my headphones off, you absolute bellend. What he said. Okie dokie, Billy Buggy. What's the delay, man? What's the delay? Everyone's in the room. Can we get cracking? Clock ticking. Right, starting. Awesome. Right, good luck, everyone. Hopefully we can get through this race and in double quick time. Final race, Group I, round number 2, GTfusiOn 2023. Monty starting at the front, having finished at the back last time out, and of course the last time's winner Mike starting at the very back. Let's I want to actually go on board with someone further back and just check. Let's do it from here and we can get a good view. That's your 5 lights. They'll go out and we'll be away for the final time here in round number 2. And almost into the path of Pepe. So much better start from Timorous than a couple of cars ahead. Into Radio No Rouge we go. Everyone touching. No, we're through clean. What happened there? Who was that? Firing off into a wall. That looked to me like he just disappeared off to the left hand side with no touch from anybody, but who knows, because the replay doesn't work. Something happened up ahead there because Jaro and Thanos had a coming together, and both of them into the wall there. So 3 big crashes already in this race. Monty off up into the lead, 1.7 seconds clear already. Now he's on the medium tyres. Can he get them to work for him this time? Can he get them to give him a nice little gap and pull away from those running behind on the hard compound tyres? The Beck also running on the mediums. Remember last time we ran this 13 lapper, Monty went 8 laps on those medium tyres, and for 2 of those laps they were red. Pepe, there he is, he's on the hard compound tyres, he's running in 3rd. He's 1.7 ahead of Paput, who is half a second ahead of Stormfly, running also on those hard compound tyres. And he's got himself ahead of Mikel, or currently ahead of Mikel. And that's where I want to stay. Mikel, pretty racy today. I think Stormfly and Mikel, they're the 2 closest in pace in this race. And Stormfly really unlucky in in that last sprint race. It looks like he may have been clipped at some stage. And the liveries on those 2 cars, the Black Flag car and that and Mikel's HRT car, very similar. Has our Graham been copying other liveries? No, I don't think he has, in all honesty. Very simple, clean lines on the Alphas. It's not bad, that. Not a bad looking car now. We chuck out some decent liveries, don't we? We have very pretty motor cars. So Monty still leads away, 1.4 seconds. He leads. Just the back ends of those cars getting very squirrely out of the source. Struggling to get that power laid down, even on those grippier tyres. But you can see those 2 on the medium tyres just starting to pull away from everybody else, building themselves a nice little gap from Pepe. Pepe and Paput and Stormfly all running within a few tenths of each other. Can Stormfly make a move here? He's got the slipstream. I think he's a little bit too far back to make it count into this right-hander at the top of the Kemmel Straight, and I can't remember the name of the turn, and I'm not going to look it up now. Paput really close to the back of Pepe. Is the battle between these 2 going to allow Stormfly just to close up? It certainly looks like he can, because at the moment it looks like Paput is being held up a little bit by Pepe. And I don't know, is it pronounced Pepe? I suppose here it would be Peep. Or Peeps, P-E-P-Y-S, but I suppose it is Pepe, isn't it? It's Italian, isn't it? A little bit wide, Pepe there, and that allows Paput to get a run on him. That allows Stormfly to get a run, but I think Pepe's going to be able to hold on at this stage as he's just edging ever closer up the inside. He's keeping the car just pointed in that right direction, Stormfly, in case Pepe decides to go a little bit wide again, and then he's going to be poised like a lion chasing down a gazelle to make that move. And there he does. He's going to be round the outside. Can he hang it and hold it round the outside? Looks like he does. Him and Pepe side by side. But with the inside line here, Stormfly in, and he takes 4th place. Can he start to pull away from Pepe at this stage? Monty still leads, and he's actually pulling out a nice decent gap. Now, if he can get a run like he did in that last 13 lapper, he's in a really good position here, because he can take those medium tyres further than anybody else in the race did. He did 2 laps with the tyres absolutely through to the wire, down to the wire they were, and he still kept it on the racetrack. It was when he went onto the hard compound tyres actually that he had the problem. His gap now 3.3 seconds over the GTF driver from France, the Beck, who hasn't been having the greatest of races, has found himself down the order on a number of occasions today. Paput is ahead of Stormfly, 1.7 seconds behind the Beck. But Stormfly now, as they head up towards the Kemmel Straight for the 3rd time, Is he going to be close enough to make a move? I don't think he is there. Papout's going to be getting a bit of slipstream from the Beck, but he did get what a run he got out of the Radio No Rouge, and he's going to make the move on the Beck. Beck losing 2 places there, and bear in mind the Beck's on the medium compound tyre. That's 2 places lost. Papout moves up to 2nd, Stormfly up to 3rd, and we continue with the Beck just hanging on the back. He's got the medium tyre, so he will get a decent run. Can he get that place back? Did he have to slow down a little bit too much coming through? A little bit of touchy there. It looked to me like he was going to spin Stormfly out, but just backed off at the right time, and Stormfly hangs on in 3rd. At the back of the pack there's Jaro. He is 4.1 seconds back. Some damage on the front there. Thanos has got damage. Rosie has got damage. Timoris is he's not damaged. He's sitting behind that battle. That battle ahead is Mike and Pepe and Stormfly, and he's patiently just closing up where these guys are battling, just closing up the gap. And wide there, the Beck going wide, and Mike finding his way through. Pepe is also through. The Beck starting to just make a few errors, creeping in, and every time he goes a little bit wide, he makes an error. Another driver makes up a position. So there we've got, I mean, you can see from Timoris there, that is Stormfly, Papout, Pepe and the Beck all in shot, while Monty disappears up the road, and he's some way ahead, Monty, at the moment. You can't see him. He's already into the bus stop chicane, and the Beck has another car making a run in. That is Timoris making that run. Can the Beck hang on? He's having to look up the inside. I don't think he's going to make that move. He has to slow right down. This is such good battling. This is a great shot here. This chase cam really works for this kind of battle as they head down now towards the source. And I think we're going to have to unfortunately drop Lebec. Lebec, or well, I suppose it's Lebec because he's French. We'll drop Lebec and stay with Timoris because it gives us a great view of this run. Very different lines coming out of there. He's stuck in there behind Pepe. Best place to be in the slipstream. Gain as much momentum as you can, and in they go. And we can just see the head of this row of 5 and off disappears Stormfly into the distance. This is now what it was at one stage a 6-car battle. It's down to a 4-car battle for 3rd place at the moment, and Stormfly just starting to edge away from this fight. Mike hanging in there. Behind Mike, he's got to defend rather than obviously he's chasing down Stormfly, but rather than defending from Stormfly, he's got to look rather than chasing Stormfly, he's got to look behind and make sure he's defending from Papout, although he is now just starting to edge away. This is a great shot of this battle though, from the car of Timoris, and I'm not staying with Timoris for any other reason than it's just giving us a great view of this battle. And ahead of him, that's DCT's Pepe, the Italian driver, and ahead of him is Papout of Poland, and ahead of him is the HRT driver Mike L. 2 Polish drivers, an Italian and a Greek driver here battling out for 3rd place. The Beck, I thought he was getting dropped by these guys, but he's actually hanging on in there. Back in 8th, there's Rosie. You can't even see him back there. He's way. There was a little glimpse of him over the wall, but he's way back. Those 3 cars behind, all with damage after having shenanigans on lap number 1. So this battle still raging on, but nobody in a position to make a move. And what was a 4-car battle from Timoris, Pepe, Papout and Mike is now really a kind of 3-car battle, of which Timoris is not quite close enough to be involved between Pepe and Papout. So here we go. I mean, it's closing up again into the bus stop chicane, but we will see it opening up again. There we go. So I think we've followed this long enough. Does Pepe not get a run on Papout? It certainly looks like he does. He's going to have the outside line though, which is going to make it difficult into the source unless he can make the old switcheroo. Pepe really holding on to that inside line, but it sends him wide, and he does the old switcheroo for Pepe, and he comes up and makes that move. Timoris gets clipped by Papout as Papout tries desperately to defend, and the Beck gets a run on him. He's going to have to tuck him behind now. He can't go side by side here, but he will get a good run on the Beck out of those really complicated, tricky Radio No Rouge into the Kemmel Straight. But he doesn't get a decent run out of there. and off goes the Beck. So Beck gains a position back after Paput went so wide out of the source. There's Monty 7.3. You're actually purple patch for him. He's having a great day in this race. Five laps in, he's already 6.7 seconds clear. Now this is the point at which he needs to just start looking after those tyres, because what he doesn't want to do at this stage, he's the fastest man on the track, 218.6. What he doesn't want to do at this stage is take too much out of this car, put too much pressure through the tyres, through the fuel, and end up having to spend longer in the pits than he needs to. Just relax there. You've got a 6.9 second gap. Stormfly in second place. You've got to bear in mind as well that you're on the medium tyres. You're going to have to run the slower, less grippy, hard compound tyre for the last portion of this race. The longer you can stay on grippy mediums, and not those crazy mediums that you were running in race number 1, where you held out for 8 laps on tyres you had no business still running on. Managed to make them last, but no real business running on those. I thought I saw the Orloco logo on the back of his car. The back end as well, every time you see very squirrely the back end of that Alpha, but seems to hold it quite well. The gap down to 6.5 seconds. Stormfly on those hard compound tyres making the chase down. It's going to be about getting the fuel right. Stormfly did seem to burn the fuel quite a bit more last time out on the 13 lap and couldn't catch Mike last time. Mike is just behind him. Remember, Mike was very strong on the second stint last time out, and at the moment, fuel wise, a little bit better on the fuel. Tyres almost identical between Mike and Stormfly, but he's a little bit better on the fuel. Timoris behind, even better. Timoris is really looking after his fuel. He's not going to be in the pits for any crazy length of time, but he's got Pepe right there behind him, right there with him, trying to find a way through. He has been absolutely tanking it. He's been drinking it as well as using it to drive, I think. Whoever it is in the room that's finally joined us, other than the people I already know, do you want to make yourself known and say hello? Because so far the only people that have been watching have been me and Stormfly, who's there, and one other teammate. So whoever the stranger is that's now watching, make yourself known. I want to know if it's a Fusion audience or if it's an Urban Pirate audience. That's the most key thing. Because if it's not a Fusion audience, I'm not fucking doing this shit again. It's a waste of time. It's a shame really, because Fusion, like the last season, the audiences for Fusion were pretty good. This season they don't seem to be all that great. I think the Fusion audiences prefer the French broadcasters. I don't think they're very happy with the British broadcasters. Certainly not down at this level anyway. So Monty does lead the way. The gap down to 4.9 seconds. You can see there, he's hanging on to really ropey tyres again. But if he can hang on and hang on and hang on and hang on, it may well work out for him, because he obviously will run less on the less grippy hard compound tyre. And it was very clear last time out that those hard compound tyres weren't very kind to him. Certainly not as kind as the less grippy. Where's he gone? Where's Monty disappeared to? Oh, he's into the pits. Monty he's gone in a couple of laps earlier than he did last time. So clearly has learned his lesson from that. So Stormfly stays out. So this is a good opportunity for Stormfly to go hammer time now and put in. He's done a 2:19.4. That's less than a second off Monty's pace on the medium compound tyres. So Stormfly through, Mike Carroll through, Timoris, he stays on there, all on hard compound tyres. They're going to stay out. Pepe does. Paput out. The Beck, he's going to come through. His medium's looking ropey though, but he's going to give it one more lap on those and hope they hang on. Thanos also staying out. Bit of damage. So Monty in, Rosie in. Rosie, and Jarro, there's whiskey in Jarro, he's in to the pits as well. So there's your race leader Stormfly, VR46 is 3.1 or 3 seconds, let's say 3 seconds clear of Mike, who, to be fair, I think these two have been the two to watch on the racetrack today. I don't think anyone else has really been anywhere near in the running really. Stormfly was really unlucky in the last race. Something happened through Reading on Origin to the Kemmel Straight, and we will have a look at the replay and find out if it's something worth reporting or if it's a glitch or what, who knows. So that's where Monty comes out. My regulars are on, yeah, all two of you. The irony is I actually have more regular viewers than the two of you currently watching, and even they are tired of this shit. Well, do you know what it could be? It could be that I've been live for so long that they've just had enough. People are just like, no more, please, no more. So Monty running in 8th place. That's where he's come out. He is 44 seconds off the current race leader. He doesn't have to pit again. He can run to the end of this race. So it's all about how much pace now he can put in early on those fresh, cold, hard tyres. Stormfly's only winning because he wants me to sit in this lobby and broadcast to nobody but you two. So it's Stormfly in, Mike L in, Timoris in, Pepe, he's in, Papoot, he's in, Thanos, eventually goes in, goes the wrong way but then goes in, so Papoot in, Thanos in, the Beck in, Monty stays out. Right, this is where we see where, or has it paid off? Does he regain the lead of this race, or has the overcut how much I've done? Do you mean how much I did of the 24 hours? Well, in terms of the actual broadcast, all of it. In terms of commentary, probably about 8 or 9. Probably more than that actually. I did 4 hours at the beginning. I did an hour from 3 till 4. So that's 5. I did 3 hours in the morning. 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably about 10. I would say I did 10 solid hours of actual solid commentary with bits and pieces throughout. I would say, yeah, 10 solid hours of actual full-on commentary with the occasional 10 minutes here and there. With a few hours, obviously I had a few hours where I slept, and a few hours where I was pottering around the house, and then I had that hour when I had to turn the broadcast off to turn my electric off and fix something. So yeah, I'd say 10 of the 24 hours was talking. Holy shit balls, I talked for 10 hours about one race. So Monty does regain the lead of this race, and actually Michael significantly better off in the pits, and Timoris as well, significantly better in the pits. It's a very similar situation as it was in the last 13 lapper, except this time everyone's down one position. When they came out last time, it was Michael, Timoris and Stormfly. This time it's Monty, Michael, Timoris and Stormfly. A little bit early for Division 3. Oh no, Division 3 is the early one, isn't it? Of course, because I'm doing Division 1 today, not Division 3. Sorry guys from Division 3, I'm not broadcasting you today. I'm covering for Chris, who's not about, so I'm doing Division 1. Yeah, he's doing alright. He's still playing a little bit wibbly wobbly there. 9 seconds he's got on Monty. He's on the medium side, so the chase down begins. The key obviously is to try and keep Mike in check. What he doesn't want to do, or doesn't want to happen while he's trying to close down on Timoris, is to get held up and for Mike to be able to get a little bit of a run, because I think Mike is the only real challenge to the big points here. Excuse me, Pepsi's repeating on me. I really wish I'd stuck a couple of those Jeremy Clarkson beers in the fridge, because I really want to try one now, but I don't want to try one warm, which has been sitting in my front room all day. I want to try one cold, like it should be served at the temperature recommended. Because apparently they're well nice. Why is my dog going mental? What's going on? Maybe that tramp's back is still from trousers I'm mopping. Monty, 3.2 seconds the gap is down to. Michael is closing and closing fast. Timoris just tucked up behind him. Stormfly still 2.4 seconds behind Timoris. He's quite a lot heavier on fuel, but I think that'll pay off towards the end, because he's got that little bit more to be able to push a little bit harder. 2.1 seconds is the gap now. Pepe or Pepe, 13.5 seconds back in 5th place. Significant work to do to even challenge for the top 4, I think, although one little accident could change everything. Rosie, he's running in 6th place, 3.6 seconds, 1.7 to Thanos. HKRT not been having the greatest of races, despite pole position in the first sprint race. It's not really gone that well for HKRT since their Canados with a rage quit after racing a couple of laps of race number 2, and Thanos just not finding his rhythm, getting caught up in a few incidents. It's just costing him time. Paput in 8th position is 3.3 back, 5 seconds back to Lebec, 10.1 to Jaro, and already Mikel right on the back of Monty. And it looked to me like he was giving Monty a little nudge in the back to remind him he was there. And this is really closed up. If we look on board, if we go chase cam with Stormfly, we can see there's battle raging on there. Monty loses the lead. Mikel up into 1st. Tim Morris up into 2nd. The next person to catch Monty is going to be Stormfly, but he's going to want to do it quickly before those other two get away and start pulling a gap. He's closing fast on the back of Monty into the bus stop chicane. He's going to be caught in behind him, unless he can make the move up the inside. He does chuck it out the inside, gets caught a little bit on Monty, but it's okay. He's through, no harm done. He's tucked in behind Tim Morris, heading down to La Source. There is Monty just behind. Can we watch the battle from Monty's perspective? How long can Monty hang on? Stormfly having a look up the inside into La Source. A little touch on Tim Morris, has to back out, and just tuck in and wait for another opportunity. I think probably shouldn't have made the move there. I think he probably should have waited and just stay tucked in behind and get a much better run here. It looks like he might get that run. Can Monty get back involved? Remember, he's on the hard compound tyres. It's going to be difficult. We can see Michael already starting to pull that little bit of a gap, and it's a gap you do not want to have to be chasing down if you can ordinarily help it. In to the end of the Kemmel Straight we get, there's not really going to be many opportunities now between now and Blanchimont to make a move, and Monty really struggling on those hard compound tyres to keep that car in any sort of manageable condition. Stormfly up the inside to Morris on the outside as they go around that big right hand 180 switchback. But Morris holding him up, and that little bit of lag, that little bit of shaking there, you have to be a little bit careful making that move, because you don't want to find that the car net codes into the side of you when you make the move. And as Mike is starting to pull away, Stormfly really needs to get this move done, and we head down towards this little right-left combo. This is where he needs to get a really good run out of these last couple of corners to make the move into Blanchimont and try and get that move done before the bus stop chicane. And so Mike doesn't pull out the gap. And he actually makes that move a little bit earlier. Was there a little touch there? It looked to me like he got through cleanly. Nothing that would cause Morris any problems for me. So now he's got 2.6 seconds. That's the chase down. And obviously he's got to keep Morris at bay, who is going to be up there behind him. Right. Full rundown, shall we? Lap 10 of 13 here at Spa. This is GTfusiOn. Round 2, Group I in the ALFA GIULIA at Spa. Michael leads 1.8 seconds. The Polish driver leads from Stormfly from Hungary. 1.4 seconds clear of Tim Morris. Made that move on that last lap. He's 2 seconds clear of Monty, who led right through to the pit window and held on as long as he possibly could, but now losing out to those top 3 who have been pretty much the top 3 and the fastest cars out there all day long. 10.6 seconds back to Pepe, the Italian driver. Can he use those superior tyres to close that 10.5 second gap to Monty? Possibly. 3.3 back to Rosie, no battle going on there. 1.1 back to Thanos. There's a 7 second gap back to Paput, and Paput is 7 seconds clear of Lebec, who is 7 seconds clear of the Whiskey in the Jarro. So this is really the only real battle here is this battle for the top 3. Can Timoris catch up to the back of Stormfly and make it a little battle there? It's 1.6 seconds to Michael as we come towards the midpoint of lap 11 of 13. Just 2 laps remaining here at Spa in GTfusiOn. Michael holding on. The Polish driver twice during the race has regained that position during a pit stop, or gained a few positions during a pit stop. Been really quick with them. He's very conservative with his fuel, to be fair, which allows him to make those quicker pit stops. But is he sacrificing pace looking after that fuel? Is he sacrificing too much pace? Because it looks to me like he's being caught. It's not super quick. The Stormfly's fastest lap was a 2:15.5. Last lap for Michael was a 2:17.6. Stormfly's last lap was a 2:18.4, so actually just a little bit of time. But on that last lap, he was making a move on to Timoris. He's had a free run this time. We'll see what the difference is here on lap 11. Into the bus stop chicane for the end of lap 11. 2 laps remain. Mikel crosses the line, still leading, a 2:17.2 for him. Stormfly crosses the line with a 2:16.3. The gap is down to 1.1 seconds as they come through La Source for the penultimate time today. We're at Spa in the ALFA GIULIA GTAM for GTfusiOn. Brought to you by Next Level, Print ΙΔΙΟ and Poly Words and Excitement Group as well. Round 2, Group I. All the pro-am groups today. We've got the 3 pro groups tomorrow, so we'll see you back here from 6 PM for Group C in that particular battle. And what we're going to do, we're actually going to compare tomorrow. We're going to compare qualifying times to see how, bearing in mind that the distance between those groups is about 7 or 8. Well, actually more than that, 9, 10 groups between those 2, and see if there really is 10 groups difference between lap times, because I don't think there is. I don't think that the difference between those drivers racing around in Group C and sort of Mikel, Stormfly, Timoris in Group I is significant enough to justify them being so far apart in terms of group placement. But we'll soon see. It certainly was the case last time out that the lap times in Group B were very comparable to that in Group G and Group H last time out. So the gap is down to 0.7 of a second for Mikel. We'll have a quick rundown from the back just to make sure we're not missing anything. But Jaro in 10th place, 5 seconds behind Lebec. Still 7 seconds behind Pepe, 2.5 to boot. Thanos, the Greek driver, 7.9. Rosie, 1.2 ahead. He's 2.5 behind Monty. He's really closed that gap on Monty. 13 seconds to Timoris. Stormfly's 4.9 ahead, and he's still 7/10 behind Michael. Coming around Blanchimont for the penultimate time, heading down to the bus stop chicane for the end of lap 12. Exit out of this bus stop chicane is paramount. Exit out of La Source after that, equally important. The run through a Rouge and Rayon into the Kemmel Straight going to be very, very poignant. And then whether or not he can close the gap on that Kemmel Straight with that slipstream, that I think is going to be the difference between first and second in this race. He does not want to leave making this move until they get to Blanchimont. He wants to have it done by the time they get to the top of the hill in about 34-35 seconds. So here they go. Here is the blast up the hill. He's tucked in behind. He got a great run out of there. He's making the move down the side. Now very smartly actually, Mikel closing off that inside line into the right-hander here. Now I've seen Stormfly make some great moves around the outside there in the past. This time hasn't got that move done around the outside, but he is sticking with him. So it's going to be either a mistake from Mikel or a move at Blanchimont, or maybe a last-ditch dive up the inside in the bus stop chicane, although that is a risky move at this stage of the race, particularly with the potential to pick up a penalty and lose second place. That's the thing. Do you make the move and in the dive for first, risked losing second and a penalty. I suppose that's the difference between those who win races and those who don't. In my position, I'd be happy with second. I'd take that, but I don't think Stormfly is the sort of guy that would just take that. I think he would, if a half chance presents itself at the end of this lap, I think he's absolutely going to take it. If Mike does hold on, I tell you what, it's been a great performance, a great defensive drive from Mike on these last couple of laps, doing just enough to keep Stormfly at bay. So here we go. He gets the run in Blanchimont. Does he get the move done this time? Is he close enough? I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to make a run in Blanchimont, and certainly I'm not even sure if he's close enough going into the bus stop chicane to make a move. The gap is closing a little. No, actually, it's opening up. So pushing it a little bit too hard. So it looks like Mikel is going to hold on to take this win. Only just. He comes through, Stormfly with a run to the line. There's nothing in it between them. It is Michael just from Stormfly. Tim Morris will come home in third, comfortably so as well. Thanos does get the move done on Monty. 15 seconds back for HKRT. I think that actually is probably Thanos' best. I think he finished top 3 in the first sprint race. Runs out of fuel right at last, but I think he's just far enough ahead to make that limps across the line, gets that done. To be fair, Stormfly, there's nothing you did there. I think Mike actually, I think you and Mike best two out there by miles. Rosie across, he comes in 6th behind Monty. There he goes. Pepe will cross the line in 7th. Some points there for Italy. Well, no points because it's just yellow, isn't it? 8th for Paput. Lebec in 9th, and Jarro comes home in 10th place. There is your final running order. We're done. That's 4 races out of the way. Short break before another race for me to do. So there we go. Done and dusted. Save that replay. There we go. Get the results page up like that. That's not the right button. That's the one I want. Screenshot that. And we'll screenshot that. I want to compare the best lap times from the race as well. So there we go. Another race done and dusted here with GT Fusion 4, or the Pro-Ams anyway. We're back tomorrow with more GT Fusion from the Pro Groups, which will be from 6 PM here on Black Flag Racing TV, if they haven't watched this and sacked me for moaning for most of it. But to be fair, I've got a right to moan because nobody's fucking watched it. It's been an absolute waste of my time. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Congratulations to Stormfly, got a win under his belt. Mike's got a couple of wins under their belt. Best 2 drivers out today. But yeah, no, it's pretty decent. Yeah, what you were held up a little bit by Timurus, but you know, you had to catch him a little bit. To be fair, I think Mikey's won that both times. He's got those results. He's got them in the pits, and you know, weathered the chase down. But that's all from me for this evening here with GT Fusion. I'll catch you in about 20 minutes to 20-25 minutes for Division 1 of GT Champions live here on GTC and